Have you ever seen a shimmery body oil from a brand like NARS, Tom Ford, or Sol de Janeiro and thought, I can do that. Shimmer plus oil. How hard can it be? So you mix together mica and oil, get your glow on, and then quickly discover a few problems. Problem 1, you're leaving shimmery bronzed smudges on everything you touch. Whoops. Problem 2, that shimmer is sinking to the bottom of the bottle, meaning you've got to enthusiastically shake it before every application. And problem 3, it's pretty oily. I've been there. I fixed my summer shimmer glow oil, and I'm going to show you how I did it with my best ever body glow oil formulation. I'm making a 100 gram batch today, which is quite a lot. So if you would like to scale the formulation down or up, I have shared instructions on how to do that in the free partner blog post. We're going to start with problem 3, the greasy problem, because that is the easiest one to solve. If you look at the ingredient list for commercial shimmer body oils, you'll see the first ingredients are usually lightweight esters like ethyl hexyl palmitate and caprylic capric triglyceride, rather than true oils like almond oil or jojoba oil. Those usually show up further down the ingredient list. So for this formulation, we're using caprylic and capric triglyceride, also known as medium chain triglycerides, for the bulk of this formulation. This ingredient is lightweight, relatively inexpensive, and widely available. You can often find it at grocery stores now, as well as from cosmetic suppliers. You'll need 78.8 grams. Up next, the shimmer. You can choose any color of shimmery mica you like, but there are two really important non-color considerations. The first one is part of keeping the shimmer from sinking to the bottom of the bottle, and that's the particle size. The bigger the bits of mica, the heavier they are. And they're also a lot more sparkly, giving more of a glitter sparkle effect on the skin than a shimmer. Here are two different bronze micas from TKB Trading. Bronze Reflex has a particle size of 55 to 190 microns, while bronze gold is much smaller at 6 to 90 microns. And I'll be using bronzed gold today. The second mica consideration is sourcing. Some micas are mined by children under seriously awful conditions, so please make sure the micas you purchase were sourced ethically. TKB Trading, Yellow Bee, and Mad Micas only sell ethically sourced micas. If a website doesn't specify, ask. You'll need 15 grams mica. If you'd like to use less for less color, I recommend replacing the missing mica with cerussite mica, which won't color your formulation. This will preserve the viscosity of the finished body oil, and I will share why that's important in a minute. We've sorted the greasiness and part of the settling problem, but what about the rest of the settling issue and the leaving colorful smudges everywhere thing? The solution to those issues is actually just one really cool ingredient. It thickens the body oil to prevent the mica settling out, and it brings some great transfer-resistant properties that makes this formulation far less messy. I'll show you how well it works soon. Unfortunately, this ingredient is a bit harder to get. You'll need 5 grams of the polyamide 3 sold by Making Cosmetics, and I'm afraid I haven't found this ingredient for sale anywhere else. The polyamide 3 that TKB Trading sells is a different product, and it doesn't work the same way with medium chain triglycerides. You can learn more about polyamide 3 in the free Humblebee and Me DIY encyclopedia, but basically there are 3 different types and they all work differently with different oils and emollients, and they make some really cool things possible. For example, earlier this year I used polyamide 3 and its sister polyamide 8 to make this super neat clear lip balm as a Patreon exclusive and shared it with my exclusive video tier patrons. So if you would like to check out that formulation, please consider becoming a patron. Polyamide 3 is super cool when it works, but this here is an example of polyamide 3 with a non-compatible emollient, aka when it doesn't work. See how it looks sandy and gritty? It's also nowhere near as thick as it should be. This particular polyamide 3 works really well with medium chain triglycerides, so if you don't change either of those ingredients, you're off to the races. Making the oil is pretty easy, but there are a couple tricky parts. Don't worry though, I've got you. Begin by combining the medium chain triglycerides and polyamide 3 in a beaker. The polyamide 3 needs to get pretty hot to melt, so you'll want to do this on a hot plate if you have one. Other options include placing your beaker directly on a glass top stove, again, if you have one, or using a small oven-safe dish like a little custard cup and putting it in a roughly 100-120 degrees Celsius oven to heat through. Since the polyamide 3 is clear, it can be hard to tell if it has melted, so here's what to look for. Tiny bubbles. Once you can't see any tiny bubbles, you are good to go. Remove the beaker from the heat, and remember it will be hot. Stir as the mixture cools, and it will start to thicken pretty quickly. Once the oil has thickened and cooled to close to room temperature, now it's time to get all shimmery. Stir the oil into the mica until smooth. You can also use a blend of micas for something really unique. We're ready to add our fragrance and our vitamin E. Weigh in 0.4 grams fragrance oil of choice and 0.8 grams vitamin E. Neither are necessary, so you can replace either or both with more medium chain triglycerides if you want to. You can also use an essential oil instead if you prefer. Refer to the Free Partner blog post for details. I recommend packaging this oil in a squeezy bottle that you have to turn upside down to dispense. This oil is technically liquid, but it is pretty viscous. It's somewhere in the realm of yogurt. While it doesn't separate much, it does separate like a wee bit, so flipping the bottle upside down every time you use it is helpful. The packaging part is the last tricky thing. If you have the patience of a saint and the aim of a master marksman, you can try pouring this body oil into its bottles, but I am neither a saint nor a marksman, so here's what I did. Grab a clean zip-top bag and fill it with your body oil. I used a beaker to hold it upright and open. Snip off the corner and squeeze the shimmery goodness directly into your bottles. This is much faster and cleaner than pouring, and unlike a syringe, you don't have to try to clean the bag out afterwards. I don't love single-use plastic, but cleaning this highly pigmented product out of a syringe would take a ton of water, detergent, and determination, so this seems like an acceptable application for single-use plastic. When you're using this body oil, remember that a little goes a long way, so start with way less than you think you need. Rub it in, give it a minute to set, and it'll become pretty darn transfer resistant. It's not invincible. I still wouldn't wear this with white shorts, but the pigment stays on your skin pretty well. And that's how to make a shimmery body oil that won't leave colorful, oily smudges everywhere. If you love glowing skin but are looking to skip the shimmer, I think you'll love this fabulous DIY, so click here to get the free formulation. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.